Let's get right to it. The dangerous one, Daryl Ruiter. Kayla, tell everybody who Daryl's brought to you by.
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Thank you very much. Daryl, hello.
Hello, boys. Happy Victory Monday.
Same to you. What'd you think of Shedeur?
Poor pony.
Well, that was a great day. What did you think of Shedeur yesterday?
First half, really good. Second half, not so good. But bottom line, got the job done.
So I said to Lima just before we had you on, like I'm having a little bit of a weird moment here where I watched in person and I was up there with the fans and all that other stuff, and I'm having a blast. And I came down the steps yesterday and I go, well, that's it. He's the guy. 2026. Give him 2026. And that it has come to my attention here over these last several hours that the internet didn't feel that way. People watching at home didn't necessarily feel that way. So I'm trying to find either a happy medium or maybe the truth, and I just didn't want to see it because I was so busy being excited and celebrating a Browns win. So what is the truth there, Daryl? Did he make himself the starter in 2026 yesterday?
No, I don't think he made himself the starter in 2026 yesterday. I said this on the post-game show with Andy Baskin on YouTube. There is something there with this kid. I'm convinced of that. But he needs a lot of seasoning, needs some polishing. And I am curious to see what a full offseason of getting a legitimate opportunity on the practice field to make himself a better player during the offseason and as well as in training camp, what that might do for him as far as his on-the-field play. But there is something there that I am very interested in exploring. But the Browns being the Browns and in the situation that they're in, time just isn't on their side. And I don't know if they have time to let this kid develop into something or to see if this kid will develop into something. But what is clear is that he does listen to coaching. He seems to be taking in the advice that he is being given during the week. He doesn't act like he is infallible. He owns up that second interception was just an awful decision. You can't do something as reckless and careless as that. He owned up to that after the game, and I give him credit for that. I would prefer that he just doesn't throw that football altogether. But same as you, Ken. I mean, I was checking the mentions on social media, and people were getting after me, saying how they can't wait for me to talk about how awesome Shadur played and how great he is, and he's not there yet. But the thing is we've seen stretches, we've seen glimpses of really, really good football from him, and that's why I would like to see the Browns give this kid a chance in 2026, but I'm not convinced that they're going to do that.
It's interesting because there's no doubt you could say that about every rookie quarterback. Like, give him an offensive line, give him coaching, give him an offseason. And certain guys, they absolutely take leaps, and then a bunch of guys don't. In fact, you'd probably say majority of guys that are rookies that are throwing a lot of interceptions, he's got 10 now in 6 starts, which is a lot. Right. When that happens, like 98% of those quarterbacks end up just being bad. And I asked Ken, before we went to break, of all the rookie quarterbacks that are getting, ample amount of time, Jackson Dart, now Tyler Shough, Cam Ward, you could say the same thing about all of them. They've all shown, just like Shedeur, and in fact, they've shown more because they've had more opportunity. They've all shown amazing moments. They've all shown to their fan bases that they could be really good if the right team, remember, they're all on bad teams. So if you put the right amount of guys, right coaching, give them the off seasons. But what are the odds of these 4 guys that any of them are the starting quarterbacks for their team in 3 years? I'd probably say not very high.
Well, I mean, look, Peyton Manning owns the world record for interceptions as a rookie, and he turned out well. And listen, I'm not saying that.
And then there's Jameis Winston. And
I know. I'm not. Again, I'm not saying that he's Peyton Manning 2.0.
Let the man talk, Tone. Let the man talk.
But you don't know unless you give him a shot. And I think that he's done enough to deserve the shot. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the long-lost solution. I've been very consistent in that as he's gone through these starts, the good ones and the bad ones. I'm not sitting here saying he's the franchise quarterback of the future. But what I am saying is I think he has played well enough in stretches to where it is worth exploring whether or not he is. And if he is, it's the ultimate jackpot for the Browns because they will be paying him nothing for the next 3-4 years or so. Actually, it's 3 years because he's got a 4-year rookie contract, being a 5th-round pick. But yeah, I mean, it's worth taking a shot at. I really believe that. I think it's worth taking a shot at.
So what is that, Daryl? What does that mean? Take a shot. Like, are you not putting him in a competition next year with a veteran? Or are you ruling out taking or trading up? Now they're down to 6, but still could get up to number 2 based on what happens this weekend. Are you ruling out trading up to get Mendoza or, the Oregon quarterbacks escaping right now?
Yeah,
Dante Moore.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on Oregon quarterbacks, quite frankly.
Daryl, that's not fair.
Come on, I'm just having a little fun with you.
Okay,
Ken.
He's having fun.
I'm sorry.
It's Victory Monday after a Steelers game,
sorry.
Ken. These don't come along all that often,
true.
except for when they're played in Cleveland.
I stand down.
No, you can put him in a competition next year and make him earn the job, but he wasn't in a competition this year. I know the organization says he was. He wasn't in a throwing footballs in training camp to the ball boys. You're not in a competition, okay? It really was a 3-man competition. They really had no designs of playing Shadur this year, and yet here we are, right? So, I'm not saying that he's absolved from any type of a competition for the job or anything like that. All I'm saying is let's give this kid a legitimate chance in 2026 to show us what he's made of. Also, I would not trade up for a quarterback right now. I don't think that the Browns can afford to do it. They have so many holes on the offensive side of the ball. They need to spend those picks on players.
You don't think, Daryl, a great quarterback can transcend or supersede any of that?
I'm not convinced there's a great quarterback in this draft.
If there were, then would you change your mind? Like if Mendoza goes on an unbelievable run to take Indiana to the national championship status, goes undefeated, wins the Heisman, that's not worth trading up for?
How many Heisman quarterbacks actually pan out in the National Football League?
Daryl, you don't think...
Take that, buddy.
Wait. You don't think...
I'm asking a question.
Wait,
I'm not being a smart. I'm being sincere.
You're
how many Heisman Trophy quarterbacks tend to pan out in the NFL?
What's the number?
Get his ass.
What about Heisman Trophy winners that win national championships that have a top 5 grade in the draft? Like what? They're not all created equal, obviously. There's a bunch of guys won Heismans and won national championships that were basically running backs in the 80s. Like I think we're talking about a different situation. Like you don't think Mendoza right now is a top 10 quarterback?
I'm not sold on him.
You don't think he will?
He's not the reason he's not the reason Ohio State lost to Indiana. Their defense is.
You don't think that he will go top 10?
No, I think he will.
So you think everybody?
Do I think he's worthy of that right now? Well, I don't know. I have. I'm sure he's going to go number 1 or number 2 because that's just how this thing works. But do I think it's worth the Browns giving up multiple first-round picks to go up and do that? Right now, I'm not sold on that prospect.
So, could you be sold on him if he makes a run in this playoff coming up? He could have 3 games against a bunch of NFL talent. If he beats Ohio State again,
I'm open-minded.
Oh, okay. Didn't sound like it until that sentence.
Daryl, what did Kevin Stefanski do anything to help his future with the Browns yesterday?
I think a little bit. The one thing you can say
is... Wow, Daryl, he's dangerous. Continue.
Well, no, the one thing you cannot say, we can sit here and gripe about game management, decision-making in games, play calling, all that, right? It's all fair. The one thing you cannot say is that this team quit on him and that this team does not play for him. They played yesterday hard. They played like they cared yesterday. That has been pretty consistent late here in the season when you look at where they are. And when you basically have everyone and anyone in the locker room basically saying, take your draft position and stick it where the sun doesn't shine because we don't care about that.
Ooh.
I think that speaks volumes. This is not a team that has mailed it in. I do feel like there is something to be said for that. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I pride myself on my consistency. I also don't feel like that, the last 2 games should really dramatically move the needle. Because by now, if you don't know whether or not you want Kevin Stefanski to be your football coach in 2026, you're running your organization wrong. He's been here for 6 years. You know what he's about, okay? You know the product on the field. There's no mystery here that needs to be solved. Not only yesterday, but also the season finale Sunday at 1 p.m. in Cincinnati. So while I respect that maybe the ownership hasn't made a decision just yet, I would say that the resume is there. You know who Kevin Stefanski is, and you should be able to make that decision without waiting for, hey, let's see if they beat the Bengals, and then that's going to decide Kevin Stefanski's fate.
I think
that's nonsense.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that the organization has made their decision one way or the other about Kevin?
I think so.
Okay. So do you think that it's probably to move on from Kevin?
I'm leaning in that direction.
Okay, so that's where I think I agree with you on all this, because I said to Lima earlier today, I was like, man, if we're going to sit there and, now he's got to stay after the last 2 games of the season.
Right.
To me, that's the football equivalent. Because Lima's like, well, you could see yourself being 1-5 to start out next year and wondering why you didn't do any of this and wasting more time. And I think it's the football equivalent of having a kid just to save a relationship. Right. No, this is a big, every year you commit to what you're doing is it's a much bigger commitment than we think. It's a massive undertaking to look for a new head coach, general manager. I know all that, but man, you've had a lot, and to have to back up what would be 8-25 over the last couple of years gosh. And I mean, I saw the way, you're right, but you know what? I saw a game in Chicago where I just didn't want to be there.
That's true. I mean, it was below zero and all that.
But you know what? Your job's your job, and I know the season is out of hand. But man, I just don't want to be there in that spot. Do yourself a favor, do him a favor. If you're in that spot, you feel you could be in that spot next year where you're 1-5, then yeah, probably it's best for everybody. It's probably best for everybody to move on.
It's your point about the Chicago game, Ken. The week before, they lost by 2 points, right? They lose to Buffalo by 3 points. So it's not like that was the type of result we were getting for the last month and a half with the season down the drain. I think that there's, I think you have to look at that. The loss to the Ravens was a 1-score game. It was 23-16.
But at the same time, I'll tell you this: we've been blown out 5 times this year in the league. You're really not supposed to be blown. And that's, you know what? That's not even just him. That's an Andrew Berry thing as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with you,
and I'm staying consistent. It's got to be none or both. I am not in favor of them firing Kevin, but keeping Andrew. I think that they should be a package deal. I think Andrew Berry is just as culpable for the problems they've had on the field as Kevin Stefanski. Okay? And I realize those are 2 separate issues, personnel versus how games are managed and preparation and all that. I get it. But do you really think that with the talent, the offensive talent that Kevin was given in the last couple of years, how many more victories should Kevin have had? Now, I know you guys are asking me the questions. I'm going to ask you one back. How many more wins should the Browns have had in these last 2 seasons with the offensive talent he had been given to work with?
Probably 2.
Okay. Now, does that really move the needle
I said probably.
You?
No.
Okay. So then that's that. I'm with you there too, Ken. They should have won the Minnesota game earlier this year. Absolutely. Kevin blew that one, right? Maybe they win another game last year, but let's also be honest about the situation. We can be critical of Kevin and some of the things he's done and how he's done them and the results that have followed, but also at the same time, let's look what he's been given to work with, okay? And everything that comes with his job too. So that's why I'm like, if you're making changes, make them wholesale. It can't just be Kevin, because you still don't solve the problem, and part of the problem has to do with the front office and the personnel that's been brought in here.
Daryl, thank you very much for the time. It certainly was sexy. Have a great New Year.
You bet, guys. Happy New Year.
Daryl Ruiter.